Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle, the wrestling podcast here on YouTube and right now Daily Motion. We're working on a couple other things, but we've got a lot of other work in terms of outside of this podcast in general. So it's going to be something that's going to be a little bit more in the works, but I want to try to get this to other areas as well for down the road. But this episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle is going to focus on WWE Smackdown Live on May the 23rd, 2017. And to be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie, I actually ended up enjoying a good chunk of this show, even though I think inside of the show itself it was like 3 or 4 squash matches in every way, and they also did something else with a lot of the people in general that I typically don't like, which is jobber entrances. But with the aspect of everything they had done, it kind of worked in the end for what they were going for. And like I said, I still found the show to be fairly entertaining. The opening of the show started with Jinder Mahal being brought in with a police escort. A police motorcade come down. And then you had the Singh brothers, and then you had Jinder Mahal's Hummer limousine. They did their typical bit as he enters the arena. Not a bad way of opening up everything. He was kind of in that spot as like, I have the WWE title now. How do I react? Type thing. And kind of smiles, and then they fade into the show. And the show starts off. In the arena portion of the show starts off with Shane McMahon coming out and basically just announcing matches or getting everything set up for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. He comes out, talks about Jinder Mahal winning, but he also announces that Randy Orton's going to be getting his rematch at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view itself, and then he also goes off and announces that it's in Randy Orton's hometown, which already makes you lead to believe that Randy Orton loses that match right then and there, based off of what they typically do with hometown people, and title matches too, in general. But then, right after that, he announces that there is going to be the Money in the Bank ladder match, and he starts bringing out everybody. And this is what I liked when they announced the Fatal 5-Way. They announced everybody who was going to be in there, and then everyone came out and started cutting a promo. But they would come out one by one and start cutting a promo. Here, they were getting announced, and they would come out one by one. So right away, he brings out AJ Styles, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, and then all of a sudden Kevin Owens' music hits. And he starts coming out, and like midway down, Shane McMahon, because he said initially there was only going to be 5. So Shane McMahon stops everything and says, "Kevin, you're not in the match." And then he brings out the last one. It ends up being Shinsuke Nakamura. So right after he brings out Shinsuke Nakamura, Shinsuke goes through his entire entrance and everything in that sense. Shane was going to kind of cut the segment, and then Owens interrupts him and starts cutting his initial promo and saying, why is he not in the match when other people who had been in their matches from last night had lost, like with Ziggler, Baron Corbin, and he goes off and says AJ Styles, the person he beat. And then Shane McMahon's just like, okay, fair play, you're in the match now, so you're gonna be number 6. And so we get Kevin Owens into the match, and we get 6 people for the Money in the Bank ladder match. Afterwards, everyone kind of gets their own promo and everything in that sense. This does eventually lead to Shane McMahon making Sami Zayn and Baron Corbin again for a rematch from there. But he also makes a tag match for later in the night with Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler going up against Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles. So now we're kind of getting interactions with Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles, which is a match we probably want to see at some point in time. But like I said, everybody kind of got their own little promo here, and the things that I liked about this one was that not only were the heels interrupting the heels, like you had Corbin and Ziggler interrupt Kevin Owens at one point in time, but you also kind of got everybody like the faces, kind of interrupting the faces to go along with it, to go along with everything in there. And of course, Shinsuke kind of gets the final word in there, saying that he's reintroducing himself again, and then say, or you can call me Mr. Money in the Bank. So I thought it was a fun segment. Set up the Money in the Bank ladder match quite well, I thought. I like the aspect of how they did it here, where it wasn't they announce everybody and then everybody starts coming out. No, they brought them out one by one, showing who's going to be, and then everybody started kind of cutting their promos afterwards. So I thought it was a relatively good segment and set up for the rest of the evening to go along with. Up next was Carmella and Natalya going up against Charlotte and Becky Lynch in another tag match. This was, again, quality-wise, another good tag match between them, just like the 6-woman tag at the pay-per-view. It was good. It was a good one. It came off rather well. So, and that's what happened here. Here's stumbling over everything. That's what happened here as well. They had another good tag match. This time they have Charlotte and Becky go over, where Becky gets the disarmor on Carmella. But we do see something later in the evening that kind of gives you that glimmer of hope that they're not just going to be doing tag matches within the women's division for the time being, because you see something a little bit later on, right before the main event, which I'll talk about a little bit, just a little bit later on. Up next, though, was Baron Corbin versus Sami Zayn, and it's done. And the match is done. Sami Zayn wins really quickly with a roll-up. And you're initially thinking, it's like, oh crap, it's are they burying Baron Corbin? The answer to that question was no, because he got his heat back right afterwards by beating the crap out of Sami Zayn, which kind of plays off to the whole storyline that they're going with here, is that, you know, Sami Zayn keeps getting the victories, and now Corbin just gets angrier and angrier. So after the second loss, he just snaps and goes off on Sami Zayn, beating him down in the ring area, outside the ring area, into the crowd and everything. And eventually had to do a stretcher job for Sami Zayn. So you would assume Zayn's going to be probably not showing up, at least for a week. At least for a week, he doesn't show up. But I ended up liking the segment. I like that aspect. You give Sammy a win again in a quick fashion, and then Corbin's able to get his heat back by just laying a beat down to Sami Zayn right afterwards. And I just thought the segment itself came off rather well in general. So yeah, it is what it is on that one. Up next, though, was Shinsuke Nakamura. You had a Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles backstage segment. This was kind of a promo set, kind of, telling their history a little bit. They talk about their time in Japan a little bit and everything in that sense. In promo for the tag match, he said, over there, yeah, you were the bigger star, but here, this is the house that AJ Styles built and everything. So you got to follow my lead here and everything that go along with it. And then Nakamura, I think, ends the segment with saying, this may be your house, but when I'm done, but after Money in the Bank, I'm going to make this my playground. And that was an interesting one. I like how Styles reacted to it. It's like, playground. Okay, we'll see if that happens. I thought that came off as rather well. And again, we're starting to get interactions with AJ. They're kind of teasing a little bit of AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura somewhere down the line, and that's gonna be, when they finally pull the trigger on that one, that's gonna be a lot of fun. So up next was billed as the Final Fashion Files. They had they named it Fashion Files, the Final File. And this was absolutely amazing. I'm sorry. I know there's periods of time that I want my wrestling to be very, very serious, but when the comedy is done well, I absolutely love it, because I do like comedy and everything in that sense. And when, like I said, comedy and wrestling is kind of iffy at times, but when you get that right mixture in there, you get it with this. And you have them starting off with Tyler Breeze well, actually, it starts off with Shane McMahon. It's like, what's going on in here? And then Tyler Breeze and Fandango come in, and they come in as like they're turning in their badges and everything, and it's like, oh, you and I think they make mention is like, oh, you want our guns as well? It's like, and Shane's kind of like, wait a minute, you guys have guns? And then they pull out little squirt guns and everything. And you have Fandango, who is just like, his one-liners are perfect. It's like, careful, they're loaded, because they're little squirt guns with it. And I think he also had another line that just made me bust out laughing, which was after they were saying it's like, we couldn't beat the Usos, and you had Fandango's like, their day one is H was better than ours. It's corny, don't get me wrong. It's very corny, but I liked it. I busted out laughing on that one. This segment was great. This does eventually lead to Shane McMahon saying, no, you guys don't have to turn in anything. You actually are going to have singles matches with Jay and Jimmy Uso for later in the evening. Which, of course, you had Tyler Breeze and everything. He's like, oh, we're back on the case. Let's go. So this was good stuff. This was really, really good stuff from Tyler Breeze, Fandango, and Shane did really well in this segment. I really liked what they pulled off in this one. Up next was the Jinder Mahal Punjabi. I'm gonna butcher saying things because I have a hard time saying other. I have a hard time saying words sometimes. The Punjabi celebration, and honestly, this was kind of cool looking. The way that they had the entrance and everything for Jinder Mahal coming out with the drummer, the dancers, everything. I thought it looked pretty cool. The ring setup was pretty good as well with everything. The promo. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm giving Jinder Mahal a chance here, and JBL on commentary was selling the crap out of this. Selling the crap out of Jinder Mahal in every way, shape, or form throughout the entire segment as well. He was actually doing a good job with selling Jinder Mahal as WWE champion, everything in that sense. His promo skills, I think, are actually up there. I think, and maybe it's because we've seen it so many times again, and we've seen it before, and we've seen it over and over. The whole I'm a foreigner, you must hate me thing. Kind of overplayed. At least I think it is. In that sense, I hope they kind of stray away from that a little bit. Obviously, it's a good starting point for. I guess it's a good starting point for Jinder Mahal. If they stray away from it just a little bit, time after time after time, I think we might get to see something a little bit more interesting in that side of everything. Because the way they have been booking this, the whole aspect of doing the celebration and everything in that sense, leads me to believe that this is not like a one and done thing for Jinder Mahal. Like, it's not going to be a 1 month thing and now Randy Orton's just going to have the title back and we're just going to be back to status quo. I think they're going to go with Jinder Mahal at least for a couple months, and it'll be interesting to see where they go with it. Like I said, I'm going to continue giving it a chance because I think his promo skills are actually quite good inside of the ring. And if they take it in another direction, in other directions, instead of going with a typical direction, I think it could end up being really good. But so far, rather enjoying it. Like I like the setup and everything that they had in the ring. I thought it was really well done inside of there, and the full celebration and everything. They gave him the full fireworks treatment and everything too. I thought it came off rather well. So we'll see where they go. We'll see where they go with it. I'm actually enjoying this a little bit with Jinder Mahal as the WWE champion, and like I said. And I titled it such for the Backlash review as well. The Backlash variation of this as well. You know, WWE is giving us something different. And we're getting to see it right there. Maybe it's not exactly with the person that we want, what we wanted initially, but they've decided to go in a direction that's different. Let's see where they go with it. And let's give this a chance. So far, I think they're doing rather well. So up next was the Usos in the Breezango segment in general, which ended up being 3 matches in the end, and they're all rather quick. So you have Jey Uso going up against Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze wins it real quick with a distraction from Fandango, and then he rolls him up. The distraction was he started squirting the squirt gun, and he rolls up Jey Uso real quick. Gets the win. So obviously they had the second match because they announced 2 singles matches in there. So it was Jimmy Uso going up against Fandango. It was kind of the same thing. The comedy outside of there was actually rather well done. You had Jey Uso still kind of going after Tyler Breeze, so they were doing the running around segment, but they were also pulling off other like little comical spots with the wig and everything, because Tyler Breeze brought out their box of stuff like they were about to pack up their desk from before. So they had the wig in there and everything, which caused another rather quick roll up for Fandango to win the match. So afterwards, both Tyler Breeze and Fandango kind of start cutting a promo. They had to use the same mic too, because one mic you could hear the person on TV, but you couldn't hear them in the arena, so they kept switching mics to make sure it worked. And eventually they challenged the Usos to a tag team title match, which led to them actually having the referee go to a headset and say, and like it was like he was conferring with Shane McMahon, it's like, hey, do we have time for this, or like, is this a go, or something in that sense. And then the referee tells the announcers that, yes, we've got a tag team title match, so the announcer has to announce the tag team title match. It was an interesting way of going. Usually most of those segments end out leading to the commissioner or the authority figure to come out and make the decision, but they did it in a different way this time, which I thought was rather well done. Now, the match itself was a rather quick one as well, and I'm really shocked they didn't go with a tag team title change here, because the crowd, it seemed like the crowd was really into it and would really have wanted it, and hopefully Breezango is going to kind of stick around, because we know the New Day's coming in. And I've always liked the New Day and everything in that sense. And you would assume that they're going to go up against the Usos at some point in time. Now, they don't have to necessarily do it for the tag titles. They don't have to do that in that sense. And I thought, even though this was like a 3-minute match, I thought the match itself was rather good. I guess it was just one of those bits that you didn't really have a lot of fluff in there. It was kind of all action. It was really quick. So it came off rather good in that sense, even though it was a rather quick match. But I'm hoping that they keep Breezango around. Obviously they'll keep them around, but like keep them around as viable to the tag team division and everything in that sense. And maybe they have the Usos lose to Breezango and lose the tag team titles before they feud with the New Day at some point in time. Because, like I said, that is where the rumor mill is right now. Is that when the New Day comes in, they face off against the Usos. I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be for the tag titles, but you would assume it would also be for the tag titles, which leads me to believe that they're kind of getting Breezango out of there, even though they've been doing really good stuff. I've enjoyed the Fashion Files thing and everything in that sense. So you kind of want them to have that one run with the tag team titles before they end everything. So yeah, we'll see where they go with it. But it's not, I guess in that sense, it's not looking good for Breezango at this point in time. So right before the main event, you had a segment where it started off with Shane and Natalya. Natalya basically saying, is like, you said if I wanted a women's title shot, all I had to do was ask. Well, this is me asking. So, and she was, pointing out that she got the fall from the night before, and Shane's like, you got a point. In that, it's like, you got a point in that sense. Then Carmella starts coming in. Ellsworth was there as well, so he's kind of doing his little shtick. He does a bit with Tamina in everything. With everything, he ends it with his, I guess that's his catchphrase, is duh. Now, because I think he says, like, he says, Tamina, I know you had the googly eyes for me, but you're in the friend zone now. Duh. Oh my God, Ellsworth, why are you good? I don't know why you're good in there. But so you had Carmella in there. They get right after that. Becky Lynch comes in, pleads her case. Tamina comes in, pleads her case as well, and then Charlotte comes in and pleads her case for everything. This is actually a really well done segment. And you thought this was, because the rumor mill had been going that they were potentially setting up a women's Money in the Bank ladder match at Money in the Bank. But this set up a 5-way elimination match, not at Money in the Bank, but for next week, and the winner of that gets a shot at Money in the Bank against Naomi in there as well. So I thought this segment was rather well done. It'll be interesting to watch that match next week and see how everything comes out, because if they are attempting to do a women's Money in the Bank ladder match, they could do something that ends this match in a shady way or something in that sense. So we'll see where they go along with everything. But like I said, this kind of gets it away from everybody teaming up. So you have Natalya, even though Natalya, Carmella, and Tamina are kind of in that group together, now it's about the title and everybody wanting that shot at the title. So I thought that segment came off rather well, and it kind of leads that women's division off into another direction and staying away from potentially going into that route where it's like, oh, it's just going to be tag matches every week and we're not going to have anything about the title match or anything in that sense. So it should be an interesting one next week. So this leads us to the main event of the night, which was Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles going up against Dolph Ziggler and Kevin Owens. I thought it was a good match. I thought the match itself was rather well done, and you had a couple of hot tags in there for Nakamura and Styles. Though Nakamura did pretty much take most of the punishment for a good chunk of the match here in every way. That is one thing that they've been kind of going with Shinsuke for the time being. He's been selling a lot, and maybe that's just, I guess they're testing him or something in that sense, like how much is he willing to sell, all that kind of stuff to go along with it. But everybody kind of did their thing in the match. The quality of the match was good. You have that interaction between everybody in the actual Money in the Bank ladder match, but you also have their single storylines, because even though you would assume that they're not going to do too much more into a Dolph Ziggler Shinsuke Nakamura feud, but you have that there. Then you also have Kevin Owens going up against AJ Styles to go along with it. And yeah, I thought the match itself was rather well done. Afterwards, you got a stare down with Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles. Again, them teasing to having a match somewhere down the road, which, you know, is the rumor mill as well. That is that they're planning for a Shinsuke Nakamura AJ Styles feud at some point in time, or at least a match in some way, shape, or form. So we'll see how everything ends up going out there. So overall, I thought it was a good SmackDown. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed SmackDown this week. You had some really good stuff in there. The stuff with Jinder Mahal, I thought was really well done. And like I said, they're selling the crap out of it. They're leading the women's division off into another direction. You also have the Money in the Bank ladder match set up with what I would assume. I look at it and it's like, that's actually pretty stacked. That's a pretty stacked Money in the Bank ladder match right there, and it should be really good. And yeah, they did a really good. I thought they did a good job this week of setting stuff up going into Money in the Bank. Hopefully, they keep Breezango around in that tag title picture for the time being as well. So we'll see how that ends up going. So yeah, that is everything from SmackDown this week. I thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great day, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Have a good one, everyone.